All right, hopefully the audio balance works better today so I can leave my headphones up. Intro music super loud, so we will cut down, at least on the Twitch side. Hopefully we get the balance right. Because I keep missing, like, subs and stuff. I don't want to do that. So here we go. Kill. I did a full breakdown and clean, like a vat clean, of my airbrush yesterday. The Mobius that I got sent. Relubed everything. Got it all fully cleaned out, scrubbed out. Highly suggest if you want to keep an airbrush clean. These are dental picks. They're like little textured and stuff. Fantastic for clearing dried paint out. So I think we continue with the gold. The next step is Naples orange, which we apply in specific spots to create a sort of like undershine or slightly different angle of color. Whoa. Whoa. Oh God. Forgot to grab a paper towel. Oh no, there it is. I gotta get a better method of pouring this stuff out. I don't like doing the brush pickup method because you just ruin your brush doing it. Starting a little late today, had to do a bunch of chores and BS earlier. Let's try to move over to a slightly more detailed brush. So the general gist is to try to find like underhang areas. Just hit it a little bit. Sections where I've left some brown, leave a little gap. So much of me wants to use the much larger wet palette that I own. Thankfully, it's pretty much just like touch for this. Like there's not a lot you have to apply. It's kind of like just looking for fun spots to put it. I bet there's already like one strand of hair that's further extended from the rest of this. Like brand new, just opened. Pull these guys a little bit apart so we know where we are in the queue. What's up, Terminator? Well, we're just starting up with the paint slinging. At this point, it's just kind of like mini touches of gold detail. Using some Naples orange. Then we move to titanium white after this for the real serious, like, just couple places to hit. And then we gotta start looking at like the actual details, like the shoulder hang fabric, hair color, stuff like that. Because we might get this done by tomorrow, which would be good. I guess I gotta figure out a good, like, handle wrap color. I mean, you're in it now. You might as well just crank some tunes and go. That's where I'm at right now. doing any crazy effects that's making you like annoyed at the prospect of painting them, or is it just like general trim work? You trying to do the lightning effects or something that the Night Lords are so well known for? What, Max? I don't know if people could be impatient trying to do the lightning on Nemesis Claw. Like, you have to be, like, hardened. This guy doing washes. You know, squirt bottle wash? Just toss it in a bottle with some water, spray them all down. Super speed. I wonder if that super glue concept would work for lightning. I think it would, actually, because if it's supposed to like imitate vascularity, I wonder if you just do like the surface of the shoulder pad or whatever you want to do the effect to. And then hit it with the Q-tips with isopropyl. Man, I kind of want to do that now. Just to try it out. That was one of the places I was thinking of trying it out. Was on like power weapons. Try to give them that electric look. Gotta get some correctives on this. the orange is flying by. I even off-streamed some of the platinum blades, kind of on their own. Whew.
Poggers.
Poggers. There we go. Thanks for the follow, Vivan. Vivin? One of those Discord join bots. True classic. Kind of makes me sad because, like, that might have actually been a real account at one point, and then maybe they lost it. over on Twitch, we've got the I'm Just a Kid song playing. And every time I think about it, I just think of all like those like short form videos that try to use it in the background, and it's the whole concept of like standing in the same pose that you did in a photo that they took of you when you were a kid. And it's like all happy and cheery, and I'm like, why? They've kind of like completely overlooked the point of the song and boiled it down to a single line that occurs in the song and just forgot the rest of it. It's such like a weird concept to be like, oh, they're singing about being a kid, and it's like, yeah, and how much it sucked. Why are you out here putting positive spins on that shit? Phone call. Well, that basically guarantees that I can't try to get a game in or head somewhere this week. I was debating trying to get to the one store for the Kill Team night on Thursday, but I have to carpool my sister from work. She didn't have work, but they called her in, so it's fun. Those are cold snap days too. This week's gonna get shitty. I do really want to test these guys out. I might try to get a game this weekend. They're going to be done by then. I can feel it. And I just want to run a straight up Peerless Bladesman list. Still think it's a really good idea because most of that just entails like foregoing focusing on strats, right? Because they're just too expensive in Peerless. So the entire way you win is just by playing the game without the concept of too many strats. Grenades once in a while, maybe. But outside of that, it's pure gameplay. I kind of want to look into this. You know, invite me to your friends list on Discord bot scam. I imagine it's the same that keeps happening to the people that I know and work with, where someone will like hit them up and be like, yo, have you seen this? And then they'll post a link, and then the link just like steals their Discord account. Ugh, phone call. Just endless calls all day. Jesus Christ. Yellow fingers indeed. A group of Yoshis? Alright. Now I'm not sure if you're Broshi with a new name or... I don't know what's going on. Knew it. The cadence, the randomness. It had to be Broshi. These are infractors. Spoilers, I don't like name my random stuff. I'm not that kind of Warhammer player who's going to pull you aside and be like, let me tell you about my faction. Let me tell you about my army list. Let me hit you with their names, their histories, their rivalries. No, I don't care. This is Infractor. One of 25. All I need to know is that it's not the leader variant. We're just trying to work up the style for the non-metallic gold that I make. It's not perfect. I wouldn't even put it up on the pedestal of like really good. It just kind of is what it is. Alright, going back to Flawless Blades. Oh yeah, they're neat. The approach is neat. I want it to feel more like a speed painting, I guess. I'm not looking for it to feel like I spent hours on each component to try to make it look as real as humanly possible. That doesn't really appeal to me. I more just want to achieve a visual style than a repeatable function. Depends on the piece. No two are alike. Sometimes a piece needs to be quick, sometimes you need to take your time, sometimes you need to start quick so that you can kind of get to at least a beginning point that matters and makes sense so that you don't overthink it in the process. Always depends, man. Sometimes for this, when I do a centerpiece model, I'll take some time. Be a bit more exacting with the amounts of paints I use, the qualities of the mediums I apply. That's kind of the struggle, right? Trying to get to a flow where your mind doesn't get stuck on something that doesn't matter. Questioning, second guessing, just throws you for a loop. I read this interesting idea about like kind of where art is right now, or rather it's been for a while, and like the fear some people have, the mental unrest they get from it being highly related to like the way it's consumed today. Like the idea that you go online and you check out some artists to try to get you like hyped up, right? Build that energy to want to be able to get some work done. But then when you look at their stuff, everything they have is like super finished and polished, and it's like, check out this sketch. And you're like, that's a sketch? Man, I'm a million years behind then. And it makes people like want to quit. Meanwhile, the artist that put that up, that sketch is like a day of work. And they don't want you to know that. They want to make it look effortless. And there's just like 100 pages of stuff they've done in the past like 4 months that you'll never see. Because they don't want you to see their worst. It's an interesting concept. All right, 2 more to go with Naples Orange. God, I'm kind of mad that I was kind of planning to see if I could just go to this event tomorrow. Now I just can't. No. Well, it starts at 6, and the whole reason I was going was because my sister didn't have work since I carpool her. Because she can't drive anywhere. And she just called and was like, oh, they called me in. It's like, damn it. So event starts at 6, and I usually have to pick her up at 6, which means I'm going to be like a half hour away when it starts. By the time I could start driving down there, it's not like it's a long event. It's kind of like the closing of a store. Like, that's the timing. So if I start going after I pick her up and then drop her off, then I'm already going to be like an hour behind. And then it's like, why go, man? we'll actually start on the white. So far there's only been one anime this new season arc that's really got me, and I'm hoping it doesn't screw up like they usually do, and I don't think it will. They're trying something different with it. It's called I Sentence You to Being the Hero, or a Hero, I think. The first episode was an hour long, and episodes come out once every 2 weeks. And it was pretty cool. The idea of that world is pretty cool too. They're sort of like demon type things, but I think they call them fairies, because it's kind of like fae almost. And being a hero is actually a punishment, because if you're a hero, you can be revived. But you kind of like lose part of who you are every time that happens. So they apply the concept of being a hero to criminals to basically serve out multiple life sentences fighting enemies. They get marks under their neck that allow their heads to get blown off, basically with a spell. They're given orders from a church that usually damns them to be what they are. Some of them are fairly skilled and capable in fighting. Oh, let's get the white on here. And like a lot of the fantasy elements are tied to kind of story tropes we know, but turned on their heads, right? Like goddesses exist in this world, and they can form pacts with the heroes to give them power. And everyone was kind of sold on that being like a specific way, but there's a character who found out differently what was actually happening, and the church was lying to all of them. I don't want to spoil too much, because the build-up for that reveal took the entire first episode if you're planning on watching it. Suffice it to say, the animation's incredible. I think it was Katakawa, the animation studio, which is actually a pretty big studio. Alright, time for some white highlight. Really cool world, and like it's not just thrown together and then just tossed out to people. it does look like they went into a pretty heavy, I guess, lore-driven concept. Like, magic exists, but it feels more industrial. The world feels almost like a dystopian, apocalyptic version of our world that involves fantasy elements. So they put some effort in. They got that world building going. I sentence you to be a hero, is the English translation. That's a good one. Outside of that, there's really not much this season. I think there's one that involves like vampires and someone's trying to figure out who killed their parents. So they've employed the help of a group that I think involves a vampire. I tried watching the first episode of it. It was like, whatever. Ended up being not all that impressed. So yeah, it's just the one, I think, for this new arc. The vampire one, it was just a lot of talking. Like a lot. And then it turned into like some just basic like character trope stuff. I was hoping for like a decent mystery, because that's what it was. He wants to figure out who killed his parents. The rumor was it was a specific like vampire serial killer type person. So I thought it would be cool, but I don't know. I feel like the first episode didn't hold the weight of what I thought. Like, when you describe an anime in like a kind of darkness like that, and then a good chunk of what I'm watching feels more lighthearted, it's like there's a mismatch. Be like watching, I don't know if you've ever watched Monster. Be like watching that, but it's like, it feels more like a shonen than a genuine thriller. back a little. There's very few isekais that are really good. Like, once you see a couple, like, when you first get hit with, like, what an isekai is, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, it really starts to fade when you've seen, like, the 20th with the exact same premise. And what I feel is wild is, like, the way certain genres and, like, story formats seem to all happen at the exact same time when they start coming out as, like, anime, right? So there's a new type of, like, standard anime, I guess, trope that I've seen maybe 4 times in the past couple arcs of, like, season releases. And those are Hero Party animes. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's all the same concept. It's all like you were part of the hero party. They underestimate the benefit you provide them, so they kick you out. And now you're part of, like, a less impressive party, but because of who you are and how good you are at what you do, all of a sudden that less impressive party is getting a lot more traction. And it makes the hero party go like, oh, we needed to keep him. And then they try to win you back. And you tell them to fuck off. And, like, that's literally just the trope that I keep seeing. There's maybe been, in the past 2 arcs of new animes dropping, like 4 seasons of that. Which, I mean, it is what it is. There are some good ones, though. Usually the best ones involve people trying to figure out, like, trying to turn the story or concept on their head. Like, that's why some animes that try it do really well at first. Like, the slime one was an isekai that I was resurrected as a slime. And that did pretty well early on, but then, God, did it get super procedural. I ended up really liking the I can't ever remember the actual name of it. He's like brought into the world. It's one of those like isekai'd by a goddess situations, but the goddess that isekai's him, it goes like, ah, you're normal. I don't like how you look. So I'm gonna make you a monster. Or make people view you as a monster. And then he kind of carves his own life out in that world, being a monster. Even though he's just like a normal looking dude. That one had some good ideas in it. Once we get the gold down, we can probably glue the heads on. Jobless got weird. Jobless reincarnation. Like, I'm still waiting for, like, the element of who he was to play in, but this is almost like freaking the one where the guy gets reincarnated is kind of like his lich villain persona into a world. And you're like, oh, how's he going to play into it? Because, you know, he's a person beyond the character. But then the anime starts like leaning into the idea that he has no control, which supposedly is actually part of the story. But like anytime he wants to do something that would be a little bit more like human in Reed, something happens that triggers him to like get really cold and calculated. Because at some point I was really hoping like who he is as a person from his life before would play into what he's doing now. But he's just repeating all the same mistakes his dad made in that world. It's just the same shit. And that kind of begs the question, why use isekai as like a method of writing, like a tool to launch a story off of it if it's not going to play in, right? Like if the character is going to do what you imagine that character would have done without a pre-existing life of information, they could have just done Jobless Reincarnation as story of a kid who can clear cast and is very unique and powerful. Didn't need any of the preamble. We could just be watching a really cool fantasy story. Wait, which reincarnate into the assassin one are you talking about? You're talking about the one where he starts as an assassin, or are you talking about the one where it's like him and his entire class get pulled into a world? And he's technically stronger than the hero party as like an individual. Because that one gets really bad. That one loses the plot so quick. I just remember them, like, lore dumping terminology from the world on me, but then everyone involved acting like it was normal, like they knew all the lore, when they were not from that world, and it was just like, this is awkward. That one gets really bad. I had high hopes for that one. And then by episode, like, 6, I was just like, dude, why am I watching this? This got so bad. It was so cool in the intro. They built such a really nice world. Only to ruin it with mediocre storytelling. Yeah, you're not gonna like it after a while. It's like, it's one of those situations where they build up for these like interactions and then they force the interaction kind of situation. Like it's not good. There's a lot of elements in the storytelling of like, and then suddenly this thing happens. I watched that whole anime to feel sad. Haven't felt that bad since Tate no Yusha went off the rails. That could have been so much more. So basically the non-metallic metal concept is done here. What I think I should do is 532. Need my super glue. We need to start picking some heads. Let's get the heads put in. It's always a key thing for the infractors and most of the models in this army to have that like internal armor glow that hits their heads. Might have to touch it up a little bit once it dries, and that's fine. Paint the hair colors on later. I call it technically a short stream, but I got some things I gotta fill out, stuff I gotta do. if I gotta do the whole carpool thing tomorrow, that means I don't have to worry about the event, since I'm not really gonna go to it. We can do the finishing touches tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty beat, honestly. I should probably turn that down at some point. What's up, Pixie Logic? Two more. It's going all right. Made some good distance, which is always important when dealing with batch painting. What do I want for the leader head? We'll do this one. Bit tired, bit low energy. What about you? You get some painting done? Some fun hobby work? Which I assume. You keep talking about the Carcharodons. If it's the same thing. Is this a different one? Yeah, same thing. Shark Space Marines. I feel like we talked about them all yesterday. The fun idea of how to convert them utilizing the skull tray stuff that Games Workshop puts out has like the orc underjaw that you can kind of glue around where the head comes out, so you have all those cool looking like shark's teeth. That's cool, though. We are trying to work on sort of reinforcements for my Sisters of Sound. Adding a bunch of infractors. And decided to cave. And actually bought proper flawless blades. Originally I had 6 converted flawless blades. So we're adding 10 more infractors, just flat infractors. I've already got 3 squads of 5, which means I'll have 2 squads of 10, 1 squad of 5. Another exultant that isn't a converted exultant. That way I have 2 basic exultants. And then we got the now 12 flawless blades on top of the 6 custom ones I made that I already have. Technically I'm done with flawless blades, but if I still do not like how my custom ones look, I might end up buying another 6, which could be good. Now that you guys are here, what to do? I guess we can try and do like some of the small details. Like I gotta figure out what color I want this pole to be here. And then we have to figure out, maybe it'll be the same color as the sword handles. I don't know. I don't know what color I want it to be. Yeah, it might be good. Because I feel like I'm going to make some bad calls here. I'm just going to make a call just to do it. And then I'm going to hate it. Oh, I'm too beat. We gotta let the heads dry. We'll probably work on that tomorrow. We'll work on some of these small details tomorrow. Get the hair color done. Of all the different characters. Fix up the bases utilizing the pixel, or the pigment dust that I use. And end up doing all the black border. Should be done before Friday, which is good. I'm going to try to see if I can find a game for Saturday so I can actually attempt a list with all these new models. Should be good. So let's see who's streaming over in Miniature Land. I think. Who are we thinking? Is anyone you know that you want to, raid over to? Kind of new to this specific layout. Man, now is the time to stream, though. Normally there's only like 100 people watching this this category here. There's actually 1,000. Neat. Diet Sunkissed, you say? Alright, I'll set that up on Twitch. And everyone watching over on YouTube as we are dual streaming. I think I'll be getting out of here. Poggers. Hopefully this works out. But yeah, until tomorrow, we'll get work on the details in and hopefully be done. Until then, guys.
poggers.